What does an ISTP need most when searching for a romantic relationship? But before I can answer, please consider subscribing to the channel so Icicle the cat's identity crisis can finally end, and hit the alert bell so you can be notified when I go live. That being said, what's up, Ego Hackers? I'm C.S. Joseph, here to respond to your questions on all things Jungian analytical psychology or the four sides of the mind. And the source of today's question is Celine Perez. So let's take a look. And she posted it and tagged me on Twitter as a question to be asking me. And no one else has taken the time to respond to this, so I guess it's literally just me. And so yeah, here we go. So what does an ISTP need most when searching for a romantic relationship? So my first reaction to that is, okay, so which ISTP are we talking about? A male ISTP or a female ISTP? And also, what age are they? Because it changes on, there's different changes and different needs depending on how old a female ISTP is versus how old a male ISTP is, because they end up having different needs and are searching for different things based on their particular age group, for example. An ISTP male in his 20s, I'd probably recommend going for older women. An ISTP male in his 30s, I'd recommend going for much younger women, for example. Whereas, an ISTP female, I'd recommend them come to terms about whether or not they're going to have a child or not, and if they're looking for committed relationships or not committed relationships. I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into deciding how to go about a romantic relationship. But I guess since most people are looking for LTRs and whatnot, I guess that's probably how I'm going to answer this question. But it changes at all times, so you just you never really know. That being said, what do they need most, at least from a nature standpoint or a psychological point of view from Jungian analytical psychology? Well, the thing is that everyone has multiple needs, and ISTP has a ton of needs, and some needs are higher than others. So I guess one of their basic needs is that they need to be listened to, so they need to find somebody who can listen to them. Also, someone who's going to stick around and be loyal to them regardless of the amount of contributions the ISTP makes to this particular person. Also, someone that's not going to be in their face telling them that they're an emotionless husk and incapable of human feeling, basically, because that's the fastest way to piss them off. And also, they need somebody who will give them freedom of choice and let them just do whatever they want, which not very many people can actually do. But they have that need. And this is why ISTPs pair really well with SJs, because SJs are all about letting other people do what they want, provided what that person is doing doesn't make the SJ uncomfortable. And the ISTP needs to understand that it's their responsibility to make sure that they're making other people comfortable through their extroverted sensing parent, because if they're not doing that, well, then those people will just be all they'll just start being disloyal to the ISTP at that point. Because the ISTP's weakness is that it's not aware of the consequences of its own actions, right? So the ISTP, regardless of male or female, has that problem all the time, and oftentimes they just do whatever they want, and then the consequences negatively impacts other people. This is why SP types end up in jail and locked up and their freedom taken away, because oftentimes SPs are not aware of the consequences of their own actions and how it would basically have some blowback for them. Therefore, that's why SJs exist, to kind of help temper that in SPs, but it doesn't always happen, and then oftentimes they still end up going to jail anyway. That being said, based on that, ISTPs, they have another really important emotional need that oftentimes doesn't get talked about because they're so factual with their TI hero that people feel alienated by them, and people look at ISTPs and see them as insanely stubborn, insanely arrogant, when reality situation is the ISTP, yeah, they could be stubborn, but it's more of, hey, how about I just help you by telling you the truth? But a lot of people can't receive the facts very well, so that just causes them to feel alienated by the ISTP, even though the ISTP is not actually alienating the person. And then those people just run away from the ISTP as a result, which can be super mega annoying. However, in a romantic relationship, the ISTP's biggest need is for someone to value them. And an example of someone valuing an ISTP is someone listening to the ISTP, but the thing is that the ISTP needs that person to make themselves, so to make the ISTP basically their number one priority. So if we see like an ISTP man with a woman of some kind, this woman has to demonstrate through actions, not just words, through actions to the ISTP that the ISTP man is the number one priority in her life. There is no other higher priority than him, basically. And that's a big deal. Vice versa, ISTP women have that need as well. It's just not as strong when it comes, as if it is on the male side, because men need respect and women need love, basically. But in order for an ISTP woman to feel loved, they really need to have an ISTP or they really need to be with somebody, a man who prioritizes her above other people, especially other women, basically. She needs to be like, okay, I feel like I'm the priority. I feel like I'm number one in this person's life. And this person is always going to give me special treatment. Now, if you're an FE user and you're in a relationship with an ISTP, there could be an issue there. And here's the issue, because FE users have this problem where they make everybody the same priority. I help everyone equally. I care about everyone equally, including my intimate partner. And it's really annoying. And it's usually because FE users don't know how to prioritize a damn thing, because prioritization comes from FI users. So if an ISTP is in, say, like a relationship with an ESFJ, that can get like super mega annoying. And if you guys want to learn more about ISTP ESFJ intimacy, I have a lecture on it in season 14. I believe it's episode 15. So season 14, episode 15, and it's available at csjoseph.life/members, and just grab an apprentice membership because it is a premium lecture, and you can learn about the pedagogue relationship between ESFJ and ISTP, which also happen to be my grandparents as well. But highest sexual compatibility, but some struggles with emotional compatibility. But here's the bottom line. If you're an FE user in a relationship with an ISTP, you're going to have some problems. And the reason why is because the ISTP needs to see through their FE inferior that you are making them top priority. Which means if you as an FE user are going out to care about other people, you need to give a double, triple, quadruple portion of that care towards the ISTP. Otherwise, the ISTP will not love you anymore, or lose all respect for you, or go find someone else that makes them a priority. Because if they are not the number one priority to their intimate partner, their inner child is just going to want somebody else and go elsewhere. And that leads to cheating, or in the ISTP case, most often they end up being the other man or the other woman and getting somebody else to cheat with them against somebody else, basically, which is extremely common amongst ISTPs for some reason. It's like one of the most annoying things about them. But yeah, it's just a thing. Usually when it comes to like ISTP men, it's especially common with ISTP men because ISTP men, they're pretty alpha. I mean, the most alpha psychological types in men is definitely ESTP, ISTP, ENTJ, and INTJ. And the order of alpha is ESTP, followed by ENTJ, followed by ISTP, followed by INTJ. What's interesting about that, though, is that ESTP men and ISTP men sometimes even get the short end of the stick when compared to an ENTJ, because the ENTJ over a longer period of time happens to be the feminine ideal, where you have someone who is physically fit, capable, displays alpha traits, etc., makes themselves their own mental point of origin, while also being able to make a ton of money at the same time. So they're kind of like the masculine ideal over time, even though the ESTP is technically more alpha than an ENTJ. Well, guess what? The ESTP is also stereotypically broke compared to an ENTJ. So the ENTJ in the long run technically is more of the alpha ideal, the alpha beta mixed together ideal according to the feminine sexual strategy. Regardless, that doesn't mean an ISTP can't become capable and become a capable entrepreneur and actually pull that off as well. And I've seen that happen multiple times from an ISTP standpoint. But here's the thing. None of that matters if their intimate partner is not making them their number one priority. Because, I mean, that's just the reality. Women oftentimes expect relationship investment and relationship equity from men, but they seldom show appreciation for it because they've been conditioned to expect that. And that could be a serious issue for ISTPs. I even remember I remember my ISTP cousin saying that, you know, if his wife ever betrayed him, etc., in any which way, he would literally burn their house down to the ground, because it's like, everything I did for her, and I didn't need to have this really big house for her. And I built it with my own bare hands, so I will unmake it with my own bare hands if I have to, just to prove a point to her. And I'm like, okay, wow, that's pretty heavy there, bro. But the thing is that after a while, you start to realize that his point of view is completely and totally correct, you know, from that standpoint. Anyway, if you'd like a chance of your question being answered on this channel, please post it on Quora and tag me, or leave it as a comment below. If you'd like a free copy of the type grid to assist you in typing yourself and others, please visit csjoseph.life/typegrid. Also, check out the video there where it talks about the MBTI and how crappy the MBTI is, and I debunk it in that video. You might want to watch that as well. Anyway, folks, all that being said, I'll see you guys tonight.